Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 2 Samuel, the 18th chapter, as we saw in the 17th chapter with David's continuing to flee from the presence of Absalom. The Lord puts the spirit on Absalom to prefer Hushai, David's friend's counsel, over that of Ahithophel's counsel, which leads to Ahithophel eliminating himself. So this is 2 Samuel 18:1. And David numbered the people that were with him, and set captains of thousands and captains of hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people. Now remember, at this point, Absalom is come out to war or to battle against David. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and a third part under the hand of Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Ittai the Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also. So he arranged them into groups. You had one led by Joab, one led by Abishai, and one led by Ittai. And David says he's going to go with them. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth. For if we flee away, they shall not care for us. Neither if half of us die, will they care for us. But thou art worth 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou secure us out of the city. Meaning, you're the target. Wherever you go, they'll pursue you. If we flee away, they're not going to chase us down. They don't really care. It's you that they're after. So you stay here, and if anything, you send us help. And the king said unto them, What seemeth you best I will do. And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And what that translates to is, don't kill him. And all the people heard when the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim, in the forest of Ephraim, where the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. So that's Absalom's army being slain before David's men. And there was there a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured, meaning you had more people dying from the terrain and whatever else was in there. Maybe they met some wild animals or something, than the actual dying by way of the sword. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule. So during this battle, Absalom encounters some of David's warriors, and he tries to flee on his mule. And the mule went under the thicket boughs, or the thick boughs of a great oak, and his head caught hold of the oak, and he was taken up between the heaven and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away. So as he's fleeing, he's running, the mule is running. It goes in a direction that is under an oak tree. The branches of the oak tree are thick and basically catch hold of Absalom's hair. And the mule, as Absalom's hair gets trapped, he's basically lifted up. The mule just continues to run. And now Absalom is basically dangling by his hair, trapped in an oak branch or oak tree. And a certain man saw it and told Joab and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hanged in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, And behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there to the ground? So why didn't you just kill him? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. I would have rewarded you. And the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in mine hand, yet would I not put forth mine hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king charged thee and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Beware that none touch the young man Absalom. So we were all there when the king gave commandment that nobody should kill Absalom. Otherwise, I should have wrought falsehood against my own life. So by killing him, I would have basically done that against my own life. Shit, I would have executed me for disobeying the king. For there is no matter hid from the king. So he would have found out one way or another, and thou thyself wouldst have set thyself against me. So you telling me that I should have killed Absalom? Word would have got back to the king that I slew him, and even you yourself would have turned against me in that time if he told you to slay me, and you would have slew me. So what do you mean you would have given me 10 shekels? Then said Joab, I may not, I may not tarry thus with thee. Or in other words, I don't have time for this. And he took 3 darts in his hand and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. So he went there, he saw Absalom dangling, and he thrust those 3 darts right into his heart. And the young men that bare Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. So they finished the job. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the people. And they took Absalom and cast him into a great pit in the wood. So they basically threw him into a pit in the forest, and laid a very great heap of stones upon him. And all Israel fled, every one to his tent. Damn, he didn't even get a proper burial. Shit. Now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar, which was in the king's dale, or the king's valley. For he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's place. So he basically set up a monument to himself because he said that he doesn't have an heir after him. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok, Let me now run and bear the king tidings, how that the Lord hath avenged him of his enemies. So let me take the news back to David, the good news. And Joab said unto him, Thou shalt not bear tidings this day, but thou shalt bear tidings another day. So not today, some other time. But this day thou shalt bear no tidings, because the king's son is dead. So this isn't going to be any good news for the king. So you just, you sit back. I'll send somebody else. Because remember, back then, it's not like you had live TV, right, or the internet. So messages were sent by way, especially on the battlefield, by messengers, right? And they were people that were often very, very fast, or like couriers is like another term that is similar. Verse 21, Then said Joab to Cushai, Go tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushai bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok yet again to Joab, But howsoever, let me, I pray thee, also run after Cushai. And Joab said, Wherefore wilt thou run, my son, seeing that thou hast no tidings ready? So what are you going to say that you're so eager to go? But howsoever, he said, Let me run. He said, Still, let me go. And he said unto him, Run. Then Ahimaaz ran by the way of the plain, and overran Cushai. So he was fast. And David sat between the 2 gates, and the watchman went up to the roof or over the gate onto the wall, and lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man running alone. So the watchman at the top, he sees this man running. And the watchman cried, as is his job, and told the king. And the king said, If he be alone, there is tidings in his mouth. And he came apace and drew near. So basically, if he's by himself, he's basically bringing news. So the runner, is getting closer and closer. And the watchman saw another man running. And the watchman called unto the porter, meaning the gatekeeper, and said, Behold, another man running alone. And the king said, He also bringeth tidings. And the watchman said, Methinketh the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz the son of Zadok. So it looks to me like the first runner is running like he runs like Ahimaaz. So I think that might be him. And the king said, He is a good man and cometh with good tidings. So the whole time King David is he's nervous, right, to hear how the battle went, what went on. And Ahimaaz called and said unto the king, All is well. And he fell down to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be the Lord Yahweh thy God, which hath delivered up the men that lifted up their hand against my lord the king. Basically, we won. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Ahimaaz answered, When Joab sent the king's servant and me thy servant, I saw a great tumult, but I knew not what it was. So I couldn't make out what had happened concerning him. I just knew there was a lot of commotion. And the king said unto him, Turn aside and stand here. And he turned aside and stood still. And behold, Cushai came, and Cushai said, Tidings, my lord the king, for the Lord hath avenged thee this day of all them that rose up against thee. So we got the victory. And the king said unto Cushai, Is the young man Absalom safe? And Cushai answered, The enemies of my lord the king, and all that rise against thee to do thee hurt, be as that young man is, i.e., he's dead. And the king was much moved, and went up to the chamber over the gate, and wept. And as he went, he said, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would God I had died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son. So, I wish it was me, who had died instead of you. And that brings us to the end of 2 Samuel, the 18th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rechai Kudash. And until next time, Shalom.